I think it's never a bad time to say thanks to banks, because where would we be without banks? Banks are basically the most important thing in the universe, and let's say before time began, I think there should have been banks there. You know, in the medieval period, there should have been a Goldman Sachs to rule the world, but it wasn't there, and that's why the people were so miserable in that time. But now we have banks, and basically we can give everything we have to banks, and whatever we do, we can ask permission to banks. And if banks make mistakes, that's impossible, because banks, like God, are infallible, and even if they fail, then it's of course the mistake of the miserable people that are only able to survive thanks to the banks, and if they don't survive, then it must be because they evoke the wrath of a bank. You see, banks are beautiful things, and they really should be everywhere. You should have a bank on every corner of the street, in every park, in every city, in a museum. You should have banks in the galleries, in the disco, in a cafe, in a bar. You know, there's no way that you and I could live one day without a bank and internet banking, for instance. And then there are, of course, stock markets and exchanges and derivatives that are really, let's say, almost an invention of God. They are basically so divine and so deep and so meaningful that it's no problem that they basically submerge the world in a debt of more than 10 times the world GDP, because that's only fair, because that basically gives the banks the power that they deserve. You know, and it's not normal people that work in the bank, it's special people. It's like if you turn off the light, they will glow. You know, it's amazing how these people are so intelligent that they can pick the right clothes to wear and the right shoes and find the office that they work in every day to go to, and then do, let's say, the job that people did in the Second World War, in the logistic process to get the Jews to the camps. You know, they were very neat people, very decent, and they did their job very well. And the destruction that is brought over humanity by the banks right now is no more than just a fair expression of the might of banks. And I think we should all thank banks for giving this demonstration of awesomeness to everybody, and basically no longer refuse to obey all banks everywhere.